aftermath in Foxborough. A Patriots spoke yesterday after returning home from a very tough Super Bowl loss. Drake May sacked 6 times. His left tackle, Will Campbell, struggled, and the coach talked about the offensive line's performance.
Yeah, I mean, it comes with the job when you don't perform. Obviously, I was picked high, paid a lot, so people expect a certain thing, and I expect more myself. So whenever I don't perform, I don't expect everyone to be like, "It's okay, buddy." I mean, obviously it sucks, but it doesn't suck for anyone more than it sucks for me.
Yeah, Will's 22 years old. He's our left tackle. He'll get better and get stronger. Moments where he played well, moments where he blocked a guy. There's plays he'd like to have back. We're not moving Will to guard or to center or to tight end or anywhere else.
All right, so that was the reaction of the player and the coach. Let's bring in the reporter extraordinaire. Mike Reese is with us here. You were in the room yesterday for all of this. In fact, you asked some of those questions. What has been the Patriots' mindset after this loss?
So, Greeny, start with the quarterback, Drake May. He said this stings, and it's going to sting for a while. May himself said he didn't play as well as he wanted to down the stretch, and he promised to try to get the Patriots back to that point so he can right that next season. Now, go to the locker of Will Campbell. It was a mix, Greeny. There was the big picture view of they built a foundation this year. No one thought that they were going to be there, and now they need to make some tweaks. But then there was the short term. Coming off that game, Will Campbell was asked, how would you view that performance after you reviewed it? And he used one word, Greeny: terrible. He said they didn't deserve to win the game based the way they played offensively.
Stay with me, Mike Reese. I want to bring it out to the table here, but Mike, stay there because we had breakfast this morning, as we do at Breakfast Club today, and we were having this conversation. It appeared to, I'll use mine as sort of the uneducated eye. I'm a football fan, and I watch all these games, but I certainly don't understand it the way you guys do, and you, Jeff, in particular. It looked to me like that left side of their line was thoroughly dominated in this game. You were telling me this morning it goes deeper than that.
Yeah, listen, and this is going to sting, and it's going to sting for all of them. But you had 2 rookies at left tackle. In the game plan going in, you would have never expected them to run the ball 13 times in a game that's 6-3-0, 6-0, 9-0, 12. I mean, my goodness, you never felt out of the game. But it goes so much deeper than just how did he one-on-one pass block. And I was so glad Rabel put an end to the nonsense of everybody who has, even if they played in the NFL, about moving a guy after they went to the Super Bowl. He played 4 or 5 of the best defenses in the NFL the last 4 or 5 weeks. And I got Himbo and I had this conversation, so he helped me out on this. There's 32 tackles that have been traded since 2017. He's 11th out of 32 in pass win block ratio. He blocked 88.5% this year, which is above the average, right? So when you look at this in totality, it's just ridiculous to think you're going to move a kid. He had another rookie beside him. The protection plan in and of itself was not the best that Josh McDaniels has done, right? They let pressure come from deep. They didn't change. There was a lot that went on. No one played the best. Drake May had a number of first reads that he didn't take. Everybody was hesitant. He was trying to look it through. And J. Mac, you and I talked about it. I don't know which DB said it, but they were like on the sideline.
Julian Love.
Julian Love. He's hesitant, right? He wants to see it open. This all contributes to the everybody piling on one position when they have no idea what they're talking about.
And what Jeff is trying to say, he's tired of every ex-offensive lineman on social media posting all of the analysts. Pop Warner offensive line coach is coming with Will Campbell's arms are not long enough. His set is not the right way. He was a rookie.
Yeah.
He played the entire season. You have to remember how bad this Patriots offensive line was the last 2 years.
Thank you.
To the point where they had to draft 2 guys and start them on the left side, the blind side of the quarterback all year long, and they got them to where they needed to get them, and they fell short to a team that was better than them. You can question Josh McDaniels in the plan all you want. I think the challenge for him was with a young team, a quarterback in his second year, with rookie offensive linemen, how much of a game plan can you put in when it doesn't work? Can you go to spread and go empty? Can you you start doing all of these different things and get the guys to understand.
And let me put it this way, too. When you've played this game long enough, when you go to the sideline to find the answers, you draw back on experience. Like when Patrick Mahomes walks over to Andy Reid and now Eric Bieniemy. Oh, you remember when we played the Chargers, 3 years ago, and we had this, we're going to hit this bang. They don't have any of that.
Year one in the system.
Yeah, you got year one for 2 players. You got year 2 for the quarterback, and really year 1 because it's new for him.
everyone.
So everybody, this is brand new. It's just crazy.
One thing the guys did not mention was Will Campbell had that knee injury and came back late in the season. He didn't look right, and he kind of spoke about that, but not using it as an excuse, but saying this is the reality. One thing Mike Reese said was no one expected them to be there.
Amen.
And they got to the Super Bowl, and yet a young kid with a lot of potential is just being dragged. And it's unfortunate, especially with a lot of you offensive linemen going back and forth on Twitter.
It's our only time to shine, bro. It's the only time to shine.
Mike Reese, put a finishing touch on it for us.
Well, I think the analysis from Jeff, J-Mac, and Kmart is spot on, so I'll focus on the facts with support from our great ESPN research department. This was the first time in 60 Super Bowls that a team started 2 rookies on the offensive line, and we saw the results of that.
And you were nodding your head along quickly. He was hurt, all right? And he didn't make an excuse of it or anything like that, but the reality is that he had a knee injury and he was never fully healthy afterwards.
I think that's fair, but he also said yesterday, Greeny, that's no excuse.
Fair enough. Okay,
Yeah.
Mike Reese, outstanding work there. Thanks.
Mike.
Stay close by. I mean, that's some things are not excuses; they're reasons.
Yeah.
And in some cases, that like when he's getting driven back into the quarterback like that, I don't think that's because his arms are too short.
Right. And I love that. Let me just say this. This is why I like Mike Vrabel as a head coach.
Yeah.
That he stood up and goes, we ain't moving him to any position. He ain't moving a tight end, center, guard, whatever this nonsense is. We're going to develop our kid, and we're going to make him the player and the pro that we know he can be.
Yeah.
That speaks volumes in a locker room. Coming off a loss like that, where everybody in the world is spotlighting, I appreciate that from
Jeff,
Braves.
you're not drafting a center 4th overall.
He was the fourth pick.
I
As we roll on from the desert to Broadway, could Kyler Murray be headed to the?
Like, I really do. I think he's already upon arrival on the hot seat. Is Clint Kubiak upon arrival, based on the Raiders' track record, on the hot seat?
No, he's not. This is someone who understands the AFC West to a T, and the reason why I say that, his father, Gary Kubiak, was the backup quarterback for the Denver Broncos, backing up John Elway. That Mike Shanahan's system is something his father ran. It's something that he has entwined and add his own pieces to the puzzle as well, too. But looking at how Clint Kubiak performed as offensive coordinator last year for the Seattle Seahawks, understanding who to get involved at what times of the game. You had a number 1 in Jackson Smith and Jigba, but understanding your quarterback Sam Darnold to a T. They're going to have the number 1 overall pick in Fernando Mendoza. They have a tight end in Brock Bowers. They have another one in Michael Mayer. So you have 2 tight ends on your roster. You drafted a running back last year in Aston Genty. You add more pieces to the puzzle. You have the 2nd most cap space in the National Football League. I think the most important thing for the Raiders organization to understand is that this is a full rebuild. This is not partially, hey, we're going to contend next season. You have to start completely over. And I think Tom Brady, guaranteeing that he's going to be more heavily involved in the process as well. But I right now, I can say I trust Clint Kubiak because of what he was able to do with Sam Darnold last season. And I know they were able to have a defense, and we're probably not going to see the Raiders like we've seen the New England Patriots in 2025, but it's a step in the process of trying to right the ship in the right direction for the Las Vegas Raiders.
I think the biggest question I have for Evan Cohen is, how do you feel about a guy from your Patriots team helping the Raiders when it comes to Tom Brady? Because Mark Davis, the owner, said that Clint Kubiak is reporting to the general manager and Tom Brady that they're handling the football side of things. I don't know from you, Evan Cohen, after what happened to your Patriots, not even 72 hours ago, courtesy of the Seattle Seahawks, that a former Patriot has hired a guy from that staff in Seattle and is going to help rebuild the Las Vegas Raiders as a minority owner, more than likely at maybe the expense of your New England Patriots.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Raiders have some work to do before they get to the Patriots level of Super Bowl. But, yeah, it's weird. I heard Dwayne Wade say something years ago about why he decided to get involved in Jazz governorship and ownership versus the Heat. And he said something really interesting that I feel like it will resonate especially with Harry. He said, if I just go and work with the Heat, and this is the same for Brady, and just take over, that's just like them. It's going to be perceived as them handing me something, and they probably would.
Okay.
If I go somewhere else, it's my hard work, my money earned that buys into, and maybe there's some sweat equity involved, a business that is not handed to me. Now, I do wish the Patriots handed Brady part of the team. I'm not going to say that is not the way I wish it could have been going. And I do think the thing about Brady, and Julian Edelman says this about him all the time, he is a constant work in progress. He never allows himself to not get better. We saw it year over year with Fox, right?
Yeah,
so I do
absolutely.
think he's going to help. The question that I have is there are some franchises that don't lean into boring. For example, the Seattle Seahawks did an unbelievable job, world champions, of leaning into boring. Mike McDonald is not entertaining. Sam Darnold, not entertaining. Kenneth Walker is one of the least entertaining people of all time, which I think is amazing, and he wins Super Bowl MVP. But teams like the Jets, teams like the Cowboys, and teams like the Raiders always feel like it's simultaneously a show and a football operation. Can the Raiders, Harry, you've been there and done that in this league, can the Raiders lean into boring? Clint Kubiak is not overly exciting. Fernando Mendoza, sure, he could be fun and funny, but he's going to try to be even-keeled and boring. Can the Raiders accept that in order to win? Because I think that's how you win with this franchise right now.
Yes, why wouldn't they be able to accept it? Because if you're winning football games because everyone is focused on the main goal, winning football games, then that's going to draw more attention to your football team and your organization. Like it's like I don't agree with the Jerry Jones model. Hey, you know, when things aren't right, I'm gonna spice it up a little bit.
Right.
Sometimes players don't need all that noise. They just need a comfortable environment. Yes, you make some things uncomfortable in the process, but they need a comfortable environment to be able to thrive in. Everything doesn't have to be chaotic.
They live in Las Vegas. That's enough excitement. You need boring to make that work in Las Vegas. When you need excitement, you do not have far to go in Las Vegas. The approach the Raiders have done, they don't have a sad sack organizational feel to them anymore. By the fact that look at the smart moves they've been able to make to get this going back in the right direction. The process that they took to make sure they were going to be careful with Clint Kubiak. They're going to get a haul of players and picks with Max Crosby moving on to really set the future. And Max Crosby goes to a team that has a chance to be a winning organization, and they can get this going. They brought in a guy in Tom Brady who not only knows football, but more importantly knows about two things, relationships and people, something that he learned as a member of the Patriots and for